All right, so this should be recording. Hi, my name is Letitia Seiler, for those who do not know me. Me, Erin, and Chad will be running this 80-day obsession challenge group. I was going to go live, which I probably will in the other group, but decided to do Zoom um, for this group because I can share my screen and actually show you Beachbody On Demand, as well as the program materials and kind of what you're going to need to get ready for Monday. So I hope you guys are excited. Me and Chad did the first round of 80-day obsession and we had amazing results. I mean, this is the first time that we did our exercises along with the time nutrition, with the Shakeology and the performance line. And every step of the way, I just have been amazed with the results that I've had. So all I ask is that you guys trust the process. It can be overwhelming in the beginning. There's a lot of information to take in, but take it a day at a time. And as you get through these week or two, it gets easier. Okay. Everything kind of just falls into place and you get the hang of it and that overwhelming feeling goes away. So just stick to it a little bit at a time. And I promise you guys, you will be successful and you will not regret it because again, this was like one of our best decisions that we ever did. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that I can show you my Beachbody On Demand. Okay, so everyone should already know to log into Beachbody On Demand. And here's where you would go into your 80-day obsession. You can access it via a tablet, a laptop. If you guys have Apple TV or Roku, you can also access it. But basically, your workout list is going to be here, okay? And it breaks it down by phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And then you also have your peak week, which we'll go over. But over here is where you'll see your program materials. This is what you're going to click on. And before you look at anything, you need to go to the starter guide. Okay, and I printed all this out. I have a hard copy of it just so that I have. Okay, and this is what you're going to start with. So you're going to have your starter guide. And you're going to read through what Autumn has to say. But the important part, and this is extremely important, that you take before photos and measurements throughout this program. Because I'm going to tell you right now, don't just focus on the scale because that did not work for me. If it weren't for those pictures, each phase, I would have gave up. And I'm so grateful that I did because every time I would look at those pictures and see improvement, it kept pushing me to keep going, especially with my nutrition, because I knew that I was doing something right. So please, please, please make sure that you take your before photos and your measurements because you're not going to regret it. So before photos and measurements, make sure you get those done. And then this is where you're going to figure out how to calculate your calorie target. Okay, so you're going to take your current weight and you're going to multiply that by 11. Okay, whatever number you come up with, okay, that's going to be your caloric baseline. All right, so I'm actually going to take mine. I'm at 147 right now. Okay, so I'm going to multiply that by 11 and that gives me 1,617. Okay, now I'm going to take that and I'm going to add 600 because that's going to be my calorie burn for each workout. And that's going to bring me to 2,217. So that's going to be my maintenance calories. All right. Now, some people stay at maintenance if they don't want to lose weight. They just kind of want to maintain. We want to lose the weight, right? So we're going to subtract for our caloric deficit. Okay. So we're going to subtract 750 from whatever number you get. And that brings me down to 1,467. Okay, so that is my calorie target that will go right here. Okay, we don't do these calculations until phase 2 and 3. They're a little different. So right now, your goal for phase 1 is this calculation up here. Okay, so once you get your number, you're going to scroll down and you're going to figure out your eating plan. Okay. Now, everyone's going to be different. It's based off your weight and the numbers that you calculated. So for me, technically, 1467 brings me to plan A. Okay. Now, originally, my weight was higher. I was in plan B. I had bumped up to plan C. And that's where I'm staying for this next round, just because I know how my day works. I know how these workouts with the intensity. And by phase 2, midday, I was getting headaches and I was tired and fatigued. And so I knew I had to up my plan. So I'm actually at plan C, but whatever plan you fall on, make sure that you mark that so that you know which plan to access in the program materials, which I will show you. Okay. So once you find your plan, then you go into the materials to find it. Now we do have 2 different plans. There is a vegan and there is a regular nutrition plan. So if you're vegan, I will show you where that is. Okay. Then she wants you to watch the starter videos and then get your workouts in. Okay. And then again, this just gives you a little bit about each of the workouts and how the breakdown of the time frame and everything and the equipment you need. Okay, but mainly you want to go through the starter guide. It goes over the performance supplements. You guys can look over that. But again, the main thing that you want is calculating your calorie target and taking your before photos and measurements. Okay. After you do that and you know your plan, you go back to your program materials, and under nutrition here, it will give you a drop-down list. Okay. Now, I am plan C, so you can see they have a breakdown for each plan because everything is different for each person. So please make sure you're calculating that correctly. I am plan C, so I would go to this one, okay? She's got a lot of information on here too, but for plan C, she breaks it down for you, okay? This is what I'm looking at when it comes to my meal plans. I have to have 5 vegetables, 3 fruits, 5 proteins, 4 yellows, 1 blue container, 1 orange container, and then 5 tablespoons. And up here breaks it down for those who are not familiar with the containers yet. What they are. So the blue is your healthy fats, the orange is your seeds and dressings, and then your teaspoon is your oils and your nut butters. Okay. Then she breaks it down even further for you and gives you a sample layout plan. Now, this is if your workout block is in the morning, which ours is. So we followed this, which helped us tremendously. Now, I believe she has, I don't think she has an afternoon one, but basically what they're doing with the time nutrition is you're eating an hour before your workout and an hour after your workout. So if you're working out in the evenings, then you just need to make sure that you're eating an hour before your workout at night and then an hour after. And then your other meals get spaced 2 to 3 hours apart. Okay. And it explains all this here. But here it tells you what containers you should have per meal. And she doesn't want you mixing these up. So you can't add this blue down here to meal option 1 and have it there, okay? Because she actually has this laid out so that the macronutrients are balanced, okay? So making sure that you're following the containers and how they are laid out, okay? So there's the time nutrition meal plan. Here she just gives you a sample of how that would look like with meals, which again, you could look at later. Your rest day is going to be different. You aren't eating the hour or before or after your workout. So you're just basically having your meals every 2 to 3 hours. Now, you can switch your meal options around. So if you want to have meal option 3 as your meal option 1 for the day, you can do that. You just can't move the containers colors around, like have 2 red down here or add your yellow up, up there. But you can completely switch the meal options around, if that makes sense. So that's your rest day. And then your modified refeed days, these come in month 2, which I will explain that further down the road because I know that all this can be overwhelming. So your refeed day is a little different, but we'll talk about that later. And then peak week, we'll look at this again when it's time. But they do have some, I can't even talk, sample menu planners here if it helps you to kind of write out what you need, or you can make your own. And I'll also show you some other examples. So here are some other workout block examples. This was for morning. This is a midday workout block. So maybe in the summertime, if you guys decide you want to push it to later, you can always do it later on. But these are just other examples. And this is an evening block. So this is where you would take your pre-workout meal at 4:30, and then you should be working out by 6 already. Now she gives you 60 to 90 minutes before the meal. We've been pushing it to 30 to 40 minutes before meal, and we've been fine. It's really just how you digest the food and how quickly you can get out there and work out. So again, that's based off your plan. And then up here is where you would go if you were a vegan or a regular food plan. So the regular food, I can't even talk. Nope, that's the wrong one because that's the UK. The regular food list gives you ideas, okay? So this breaks it down by your greens, purples, reds, yellows, blues, oranges, and teaspoons. So you will look at this, and basically I went through here and I just circled the things that I liked so that I can figure out some meal options and some meal plans for myself, okay? Now, the stuff on the top of the list are more of the better quality nutrients food. So like the sweet potatoes, the yams, berries are probably the best fruits that you can have. So they're at the top of the list, okay? But you can choose any of these. And then she tells you how much everything counts for. So like a banana, you would only do half a banana, not a full banana. Your yellow, if you do multigrain bread, it's only 1 slice. Okay, so she's very specific and she wants you to stick to the food list. So making sure that you're looking at this food list when you're creating your meal options. Okay, these are your free foods here. Okay, you can use vinegar, mustard, herbs, garlic, ginger. All of these are free. Water, if you wanted to kind of spice it up, these are the things you can use. Your Shakeology, if you're using something other than water, this tells you what to count it as. So for example, I do unsweetened almond milk. So for me, that counts as a teaspoon. Okay. If you use unsweetened coconut milk, that also counts as a teaspoon. But if you use coconut water or rice milk, that counts as a carb. Okay. So you got to make sure you're paying attention to that because all of this matters when you're doing the time nutrition. Okay. And then this just gives you more information about the supplements. So that's your food list. Down further after your eating plan, you have your calendar and your tracking, okay? Now, I print these out. I put them in a binder. And this is something, again, that I never did before, but I decided to commit and go completely in. I printed out my tracker sheets and I kept track of the weights I was using and the band color I was using because you definitely see growth every week. Okay. So if I did 5 pounds for the shoulder press the first week, then I'm trying 8 pounds the following week. Okay. This is the only way I was able to show improvement and not second guess myself like, oh, did I use 5? Did I use 8? Oh, I don't remember. And then end up using 5 when I technically could have gone 8 or 10. So print these out and use them because they are beneficial. Okay. So your track sheets are very important. Now your workout calendar. Okay. This is basically just the layout of what workout you're doing, what you're going to need. Okay. It tells you. So I print this out and I write it down on my calendar. Okay. I set up a schedule so that I know what I'm doing when I'm doing it. Okay. First 20 days, you include your Sundays as a count. After that 20 days, then Sunday doesn't count as a day and you start on that Monday. So 21, you'll see 26 and then you skip Sunday. Here's day 27. Okay. Phase 2 is when you get your refeed days. So we'll come back to phase 2 and talk about refeed days and what those look like. Okay. But that's basically when you can have some of your like white carbs, and so that, you know, your glycogen stores can be, oh my God, I'm drawing a blank right now. But that way you can burn it faster for leg day. And then you have phase 3, and then you have the deplete week. So definitely I would, even if you want to put this up and cross it off as you go, as your checklist. But questions are here. She has a playlist on Spotify that you can put up that pretty much goes with the workouts. They're pretty awesome. But everything you can find is here. Okay, quit start tips, eating plan tips, weekly obsession. The group went through some, they did videos as to, you know, basically their progress throughout this whole program. And so that was very good to see as well. All right, let me get back over here so you could see me, because I know I did a lot of talking. How do I stop share? Okay, hi. All right, so I know that was a lot of information, but like I said, I kind of just wanted to navigate you through Beachbody On Demand so that you knew how to have access to the program materials. Like I said, I printed everything out. So my starter guide is here. Making sure, again, the most important information is your before pictures and your measurements. And making sure that you're doing your calculations for your food plan. So you need to know what food plan you're in. You have to calculate that with it. So if you have any questions, if you're not sure, email us. Ask in the group, because there's probably someone else that's going to have the same questions. So making sure that you do that. What else? I printed out, like I said, my calendar. I already did it the first round, so I'm going to do it again, because next 3 months I need to know what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, and when it falls on, so I know what events I have or the weekends that come and we have something to do, that I'm prepared for it. Printed out our food list. This is very convenient, and I just put it on the fridge so that if I need something and I need to know where it falls, I can look on here. And then, like I said, I printed my Plan C so that I can look at this as well. Now I have an Excel spreadsheet that I use that you guys can probably tweak in our group. Let me show you that too real quick. I'm going to share my screen again. I'm going to go here. This is our challenge group, right? So over here, and photos, once I add a file, it'll add a file section. It doesn't have it right there, but right now these are just the photos that I had. Now albums, if you want, I was thinking we can create an album. I don't know if I have create an album. I have to add pictures on here, but what I'll do is create an album with my name on it, and maybe you guys, if you're comfortable putting your before pictures or quotes or anything in here, you can. It can be like your album to put what you want. Another group of friends that did this and really like that idea. So we'll do that, but then files, I'll go ahead and update a file on here, and then you'll be able to see it under files. Okay. But this is the group, like I said, where you can ask anything that you need to for you to be successful. No question is stupid, you guys. I'm serious. I mean, we went through this too. We probably had the same questions, struggles, anything. So let me get back to my screen right now. Okay, so the other thing that I did on Etsy, someone created a planner for 80-Day Obsession. And so this one is specifically for Plan B, which was where I was at the last round. But what was nice is it gives you a tracker. It has some goals that you can have on there. But the main thing, it also gives you your food list, which is awesome. But the main thing, if I can show you, in the beginning, they give you a calendar. So as you can see, I did write everything out. I highlighted it when I completed it. It showed my refeed days when I was starting phase 2 and phase 3. And then I logged my meals so that I can keep track. And then you can have notes. And so I just went ahead and logged it every day, okay? All this was new for me. Tracking my food, tracking my weights and my bands. But in the end, it was beneficial because, like I said, I was able to grow each week. I was able to make better choices because I knew what I was eating. My meal plan was very simple. I did not make it complicated. It was chicken, it was spinach. My fruit stayed the same. Autumn has the Fixate on, I'm going to share my screen again so I can show you, on Beachbody On Demand. So if you go back to Beachbody On Demand and you go to home, or workout program, sorry, you will see that she has, and this might not be under workout programs. Let's see. It's called Fixate right here. So it's the Fixate show, and basically she gives you a ton of recipe ideas that fall into your container systems. So you can go here under program materials as well. She gives you a grocery list. Here are the recipes. If you go to your PDF on here, it's basically a recipe book, and it breaks down, if I can scroll down here, what containers they count for, okay? Now, there are only a few that are 80-day obsession approved, so you need to look at your food list to see if they work, but this is available to you on your Beachbody On Demand. So, let me end stop share. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out if I left anything out, but making sure you have your starter guide, your calendar, your tracking sheets, and your plan, your meal plan figured out before we get started on Monday. So any questions you have from now until then, ask away so that we can answer them for you. So we are super excited. There are a bunch of you starting on Monday. And like I said, it can be overwhelming. Just take it a day at a time. And if you need anything, please, please, please don't hesitate to reach out to us, because we just went through it and we were probably feeling the same way as you are right now. But know that change is coming, and it's a good thing. So, all right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Thanks.